I'm gonna marry your daughter, and you know you gotta think you.
WIIFTBPM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Chicagoland, all roads lead to Solo Beauty Supply, the largest Black-owned beauty supply in Chicago. We carry a large selection of natural hair care products, plus much more. So come see us at one of our two locations, located at 9011 South Ashland or 8158 South Cottage Grove. Our inventory is growing, and with your support, Solo Beauty will continue to be a source of pride in our community.
Maze Jackson.
Tune in to the Maze Jackson Show every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., where you can catch us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Plus, from 6:30 to 8, you can get us on WBGX 1570 a.m. That's right, it's the Maze Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? people. And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. May said, we out of here. Peace.
You see me, you see him, my best friend. He hold me down like ankles fighting the waves. Apply not to my crime, yeah, I do time. Till I'm with you, I'll be counting the days. Yeah, ooh, been through so many things, but we always get through. Yeah, ooh, it ain't always perfect, but it's worth it. This is deeper than the surface. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide to make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, so much, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy love. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy love. I never thought that I would give it to you, but now I don't think it's the time. I won't do it. I think it's 'cause the way you talk to me, know how to say it without making me feel little. Gracious even when you pop off on me. When you get done, I got a little something to drop off on me. Because you earned it with the time, you got to put it that way. You got me liking to get put in my place. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide to make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, so much, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy love. Easy love. You make it easy. Say, take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy love. You make it easy. You make it easy. You make it easy.
WIFTBPM.
Uh-oh, what's in it for the black people?
You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Ty Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this is a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago! Uh-oh. Wake up, world. Got some new headphones. I could tell. Uh-oh. Ooh, crispy. Crispy. Hey, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Yes, I am your host, Maze Jackson. Riis, turn it down. Turn it down, man. Turn it down. Turn it down, man. Turn it down just a little, man. All right. You see? It's in the quality. Where you at? Where you at on the board? You halfway down?
Yeah, cause at first I was all the way up.
Hey, that's quality. I'm telling you.
I was like 2 notches from max.
Oh, look. And now where you about halfway?
Yeah, about like halfway.
Look, I probably come down a little bit. I'm going to stay where I'm at, though, because I'm just getting comfortable. Look, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Check out, I didn't go with the classic brand this time. I actually went with a professional studio brand. I went with the Sennheisers. Went to their top-of-the-line headphone because I broke if you notice, I don't have my What's in It for the Black People headphones. I was pretty excited about being able to make that happen. Now I'm going to have to figure out a way to customize it. Maybe it'll come across the top or something. But we'll figure it out. But what I am going to tell you is it's crispy in my ears today. So it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. On a Tuesday, blowing up on a Tuesday. Hey, last week when I was in the islands, man, they was like blowing up on a Tuesday in the karaoke. And then they did... when I Hotline Bling, it was so funny. All right, so I got to tell y'all, when I go out of town, I got to do karaoke. And my karaoke song, right? Do you know what it is? It's all the same, all in the name of change, right? I do the Bon Jovi. Want it, dead or alive, right? Riis. So I do the karaoke, you dig, and it always, when I get up there, all the people be looking like, what he gonna do? Jay-Z, what he gonna do? And I be like, it's all the same. They be like, oh, no. Then the white people come to the front of the floor, right? And they be like, dang. And so, I can't sing, but I can fake it, right? I can fake the rock star voice. Yeah. All the same. All in the name of Jay. You ain't really got to hit no. So, I did my thing, and I came off the stage, and they was like, yeah, real rock, dude. Hey, man. Oh, my God, you're freaking awesome. But then, Riis, I saw, at the resort, there's the 21 and up. There's the adult side, and there's the kid side. And so on the adult side, while we were there, you could tell that they were like the new adults. Right, so like they was all like it was just like they looked like they was 21 exactly, right? And so they was like at everything, but they was like always not out of place, but like young, right? So it's like everybody 45, 50, and then here come the 21-year-olds, and they got their Jordans and they got their hair and they got the. So we show up to karaoke. They show up to karaoke. This is the one night I make it up late. Like I can't really stay up late, so I make it to the karaoke. Like I had to take a nap. Everything. Actually, though, what I did learn, my cousin actually showed me about the dispensaries, but we'll talk about that too. But Riis, karaoke is different for the kids. They got these songs Like, I got Hotline Bling. You don't even need one thing. They was out. It was funny to watch them because, you know, they was looking at us like, I mean, that's cool what you're doing. I don't know the song, but it's cool. Man, they did some Meek Mill song that the dude wasn't even doing the words on the screen, and all the kids was on the right. They knew it. It was like the song couldn't, the karaoke sign couldn't even keep up with the words. And the kids was like, I mean, and then something happened in the song, and then the deck just goes up. Like, and they all.
That's what they've been waiting for?
Huh?
Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I thought I was in it.
Yeah. Oh my God. They was, and it was like, I didn't even know what was happening, but I was like,
It started off all slow, and then like all of a sudden, this is what they've been waiting for? Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I already knew it when it was.
I was like,
every time.
Me and Carrie was looking at each other like, well, damn. All right. Then they did Chief Keef. Then they Sosa. Then they did. I don't know what these songs was, Riis, but I was feeling a little. It was feeling a little dangerous on the resort at a certain point. Like I could clearly see this being a basement video, where everybody could get it.
I'm about to go on YouTube and see if you in somebody's video, man. You don't even know they was shooting a video. You ain't even know you was in.
Oh man, Riis. But it was dope to see the shorties like when the song hit the point where they all I missed that. Let me say this. I was like, damn, they so loud though. I was like, could y'all turn it down just a little? But that's when I know I was old. But I'm just telling you, like, it was dope to see that energy for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was in a positive environment. So I ain't gonna say I felt dangerous. It felt like they was some middle class kids. Their parents was like, okay, we going to the wedding and y'all get to go and y'all could bring y'all friends and y'all get y'all own room and y'all could go over there and be adults, and they was drinking all their little drinks and, bumping into each other. But it was dope. It was just a dope thing. And I must say that, Riis, while I was on my break though, Black people is special. It was a good. You ever been like? It was a lot of black people from the United States, but it was not a lot of ruckusness. Right? Now I did notice this though. I noticed that there is nothing that black people have that the white folks don't feel like they just gotta establish some sort of like, you can't just have this. Now I know this is gonna sound super petty, Riis, and I know we're like, y'all like, what is this? I'm just telling you a little bit about my vacation. So Riis, do you ever feel like? Have you ever been in a situation where white people you feel like people don't feel like you like, what are you doing here? Or you're not, like, what are you doing here? And I know I got this really bad. And I really do it. I really do it in reverse really bad. So it's probably me. But like, so when you go out to some of the resorts, they'll let you could rent a cabana. Like a pool bed, and you set it up for the day, and then you can just be out there all day, and they just bring you like pineapples and drinks, and you just sit up there and you bring your box and you just kick it, and you got your own little like deck landing, and then they got everybody else all around you. So Riis, now one of the things, I went to the resort and I kept telling them, do not treat me like a white boy. Do not treat me like a white guy. Because the Jamaicans would be like, hey, welcome to the island, man. Then they hit you with the white boy prices too. I was like, don't call me brethren and then hit me with the white guy prices. So, Riis, we get to the island. So we go and we get a cabana, right? And it's 2:00. And so I'm like, man, I'm going to go up here, I'm going to get this cabana, but I'm not going to pay full price. because it's a half day. So I go talk to the people, and the Jamaicans be like, okay, you cut a deal. So I was like, man, look, it's half the day is over. Could I get it for half price? I was going to take it regardless, just because I wasn't finna fight these people to find no place to roll my stuff out. So the lady hook us up, right? She like, I'm going to give you pool bed number. I'm going to give you cabana number 1, Bredger. Riis. Pool bed number 1 is kitty corner to the bar. It's 10 steps to the bar. It's literally, I could step off of my pool bed and get into the pool. Right? It's like premium. Like, you go sit there, everybody like, dude, who that? Right? Like, everybody like, who that? Who that? What? Now, mind you, then it's like, it's the white people who got one too. He like a internet poker god, like, right? He got like all this internet poker, and he playing poker, and his girl, it's a white dude, and his girl comes over, and she's like, sees Carrie, so we the only two over there with a cabana. So, the white people be like, well, you must be. So, hi, how are you? And, we over here trying to mind our business, but Carrie is always polite. I'm saying, so, she's like, is that really your hair, Carrie? Not Carrie, but is that really your hair? Riis. So I'm already like, you don't even want me in this conversation. I'm gonna look the other way, because you gonna be too polite, and I'm already about tired of these white folks, after they done called me every type of I don't even want to talk about no white people right now. You can go and be cool you want to. I'm not talking to nobody. One of the things I noticed, though, Riis, as we sitting there, is in all of the space you could get in the pool, you ain't got to touch nothing. Why did every, Appalachian, is that a good word? Appalachian type white guy feel the need to touch my cabana every time they got in the pool? Like, they felt their need to take their shoes off, hold on to my post, and take their shoes off, and then leave their shoes right on the edge by my cabana. Like, now, first of all, you don't even wear your shoes to the pool. You just get in the pool, you walk. Once you're at the pool, I felt like it was like like, dog, why are you even touching anything? This is not yours. Don't touch it while I'm on it. But I feel like there is always this thing where white folks feel like they gotta prove that what you got, they have access to. Now, dog, it's clear by where your pool bed is, by where your setup is, you ain't got the plug. Because you 3 levels back. But I did feel like, I noticed that, and it was a whole group of them, Riis, that just, Riis. Okay, so imagine if if y'all are looking at the screen right now, if I'm standing all the way over here. Now, the pool is double this space. So what you see on the screen, imagine that double. And I'm on the very corner. So you have to walk all the way over just to touch my bed. Is that petty, Riis? Or do you feel like they got to just be able to make sure
you... probably said something, though. Not just get your shoes.
But the thing is, they put them right on the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so you gonna put your shoes in my view. Like, you gonna line your shoes up. Ain't nobody, Riis, there's nobody who has their shoes anywhere near the pool. These, all of a sudden, 3 o'clock, they've been out there all day. They gonna line their shoes up and put them back. And I was just thinking to myself. And then every time somebody got to get in the pool, they got to figure out a way to use the bed to pull themselves up out. Man, if you don't get your ass up off my... Am I petty for that? I felt like it was like if they could have peed, they would have peed. Like, you know what it was, Riis? What them niggas doing up there on them? You some kind of special or something? You a rappers or something? I wish I would have had my chains. Right? But it was funny to watch because then we went back and got it yeah, man. I just feel like we don't have nothing that they feel like they shouldn't be able to just desecrate. Like, I really felt like, Riis, why are you touching this? Like, why? And why are you lining your shoes up right here? I apologize for that tirade. This is the Racist Maze Jackson show. Right?
No, but I mean, you know, like, but I definitely get, like, what you're saying.
Do they do that? Have you?
Yeah, because I mean, like, we was in the DR, and my brother had got one, and just like you said, you know, we actually ended up being cool with like a white couple.
Right.
And, you know, they came, talked to you. We went on vacation and everything. You know, we had like a nice little vibe, but like it got to the point where that like they had their cabana and we had ours, and they was like in our cabana. You know, after a while they was like kicking it with us. You know what I'm saying? So
you can kick, but if it's a mutual kicking, and we all like, I'm all good. Like you got one over there, I got one over here. We got this space in here. You cool, I'm cool.
But it do be entertaining. Like, you know, they like how they get that? You know what I'm saying?
They be looking like,
you know, because they was sitting like a little further back, and then we was like right there. So, you know, they was looking like, hey, guy, how you doing? And they coming talking like it's kind of like a, hey, you know, oh, man, what y'all be doing? Y'all out here for that? Oh, okay, you know, like
what you, right, like how you get a better seat than me?
Well, I know exactly.
And they, like, right. I'm just telling you.
We was looking like, you know.
Like, who is this? Right. I'm telling you, they was looking like, who is he? And Rick, first it was, who is these niggas? Then it was like, I don't care who they are.
Let me go check and see.
Right.
Are you guys sure you guys? That's what it be seeming like. Oh, okay.
Riis, can I tell you this? We had a housekeeper come into our room, count our towels, and then leave them on the floor. Didn't take them with her.
See, and that's why I don't know. When I'm in a hotel room, I don't want you to clean my room. I don't want you to come in my room. Just I'm cool. I'm gonna stay in my hotel room, and I'm actually straighten it up when I leave. Like I'm one of them people, but I don't want you to come in my room. None of that. I can get towels from the front desk, or I call it and have them bring it to me and grab them like that at the door. But yeah, I don't like that neither. I
felt like she was being petty, like because I felt like exactly that was your tip, right? Look, and I cleaned the room immaculate. I was like, you know, because usually when I leave,
I would put that tip right on the floor, right where them towels.
You know what, man? I took every towel in the place. I took everything and piled it all up in the bathtub, and was like, here you go. And it ain't, and we had all type of clean towels, man. But man. Petty made. Usually, Riis, when I leave, like, Jamaica, I always got extra everything. And I pile it up and I make a nice little package. And it'd be a package you can either keep, take home, or sell. Right? I was like, man, I flushed this down the I poured about a... Have you ever had Jose Cuervo Reserve?
Yeah.
The one in the bottle in the box?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, we had that. I didn't mean to get it, though. You can't find no tequila down in Jamaica hardly good. Unless you go to the... Man, Riis, my cousin took me to a dispensary where you could actually sit and look at the ocean.
That must have been a nice view.
Bro, now you know I ain't messing around. I just had a beer. But look, and let me tell you what he did. He said... Because, you know, he was telling my other cousin, you know, my other cousin be like, man, I don't care what you give me. It don't make no difference. It's just, I'm going to be there. Well, my cousin said, why don't you come here? And he said, pick this right here. And then he said, what I want you to do is pick it. And then he told my other cousin, he sat there, he went out on the balcony, sat on the ocean, rolled up a blueberry banana, and then told my cousin to sit still while he partook. And as my cousin sat still, everything that the thing on the paper said it was going to do, It did. And then he told my cousin, your problem is you don't never sit still. You just be like, but Riis. Like you sat out there, like it was like couples sitting out there, like they was sitting up there, they was rolling up, and then it's like you could see the whole ocean and the mountains.
Now your cousin left that where he got it from, right?
He sure did. My cousin was watching Brittany grinding like fool. My cousin was like, my cousin was like, are you crazy? She did what? My cousin was like, what was in them jar? What did she have?
Had the good.
It must have been something. She had that Putin.
I can't leave this.
I can't leave it. I gotta take this home. Yeah, I gotta show. Did I tell you about the time my cousin was in the airport and he was like, he had to show somebody, but he was like, and then the dogs came in the airport and he thought,
I don't even want that no more.
all right, y'all. Look, we ain't talked about nothing yet, but we will be because we're going to welcome the Saints at 6:30. And then we are going to get this show on the road. Look, y'all, it's the Mace Jackson Show. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Got my man. When we come back, I'm going to tell you about my man because I didn't even introduce him. You know, we just been talking. It's the Mace Jackson Show. We'll be back after these messages.
The Mace Jackson Show will be back after this break.
WIIFTBP Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP Media's just for you and me.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
And now, traffic and weather.
Yo, who said devotion had to be sad? Yo, check this out. The Lord is my shepherd, I want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. God's gonna turn it around.
Come all the way with me.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 6:34 a.m. and I'm Riis the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports traffic and weather update. Head over to sports. The Sox will lose 4-8 to the Cleveland Guardians. On traffic on the Kennedy, O'Hare to the Loop will be 22 minutes, outbound at 20. On the Edens Deerfield to the Exchange, 29 minutes. Exchange to Deerfield will be 26. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop, 35 minutes, 27 minutes to Thorndale. The Stevenson, 52 minutes, I-355 to the Dan Ryan, outbound just 30. The Bishop Ford, I-80 to the Dan Ryan, 34 minutes, 27 minutes to I-80. While the Dan Ryan is 20 minutes to the Loop, 13 minutes to 95th. On DuSable Drive South, 55th to Jackson and back is 7 minutes and 8 minutes north. Today's weather, it is currently 70 and sunny. Today will be a high of 82 with a low of 70. I'm Riis the Ruler. Happy Tuesday, The Mace Jackson Show.
Don't leave me.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man, DJ Riis the Ruler on the ones and twos. DJ Riis the Ruler. How you feeling today, man?
Blessed by the best. You already know the rest. How y'all doing out there?
Hey, man, Riis, it's a good day, man. I got a feeling we're going to be doing all right today. I'm feeling a certain way. I'm feeling like God is going to turn it around. Well, I think he done already turned it around. So I'm not worried about it being turned around. I want it shaken down, pressed, and overflowing. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Shake it up. Press it down. Shake it up some more. Get all them pennies up out of there, though. You keep the pennies, man. All right, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Let me stop. I'm not going to turn away none of God's blessings. I want to ask y'all to do me a solid. Can you do me a favor? Take a moment, share the broadcast. Take a moment, share the broadcast. Share it. I used to shout you out if you shared the broadcast, but now y'all don't be sharing it, so I'm going to ask y'all to take a moment, share the broadcast. Let me see who is tuned in with us today. First of all, you haven't shared, so I'm going to make sure you do it. Philip, did you share? Antoinette Spratt, Alvin E. Norton, Terry Sterling, Jeff Rollins. Erica, you on the road today? Where you going? On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again. Shout out to Tavares Favor, Briggs. Tavares, we got to get you to do that presentation. Let's set that up. DeJuan Russell, what's up? Shout out to Toy Davis. I appreciate you, sis. Thank you for everything that you do and did for us. Teammate, family, Albert Granberry. Mario! Hey, man, Mario, you know what? I ain't been to Rick's Cafe. I've been sticking in Montego Bay. Like, I used to go to Ocho Rios and Trelawney and the other way. I really haven't really done the grill that much. So maybe next time. But I am looking forward to, hey, didn't Robin Patrice put a trip together? So I plan to go, we planning on going on that one too. I think we need to broadcast live. If Robin Patrice was really on her business, she'd turn it into a whiff to betray. I'm going to stop. She on her business. But you know what? Y'all, we got to check out all our people and make sure we supporting them. But I want the information on the trip. Riis, if we go to Jamaica, you going to go? We going to broadcast live? You like, is it a company trip?
Hey, you know what? That is a good question. Nah. I mean, I ain't been to Jamaica. So, yeah, I probably
You never been to Jamaica?
Not yet. I'm going to go probably.
Riis?
I've been.
I know you be messing around with that damn DR, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I've been to DR. I've been to Amsterdam. Been to Africa.
What part of Africa?
Ghana.
Of course.
Yeah.
How long was you there?
A week and a half.
Okay. All right. Did you like it?
Oh, yeah. Everything cheap. It costs $1. I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, man, I was rich, too, till the lights went out.
Oh.
Then, hey, man, I was in Zimbabwe, Joe. I saw some stuff. I snuck out one night and went to the club.
Yeah. I'm glad you made it back, man.
Man, Joe, it was real type of stuff going on out there. Like, they had machetes and everything. I had armed guards, though. Like, everywhere I went, they was like, they wouldn't let me touch a doorknob. It was like, Mr. Jackson, don't you touch that door. I hang my clothes out on the door at night, come back, they be ready to go in the morning. Had somebody sleep outside my door every day. Like, man, Joe. Man.
You got the whole nine.
We went on the first business delegation from the United States in like 20 years. It was kind of crazy. Shout out to John B. Austin. Shout out to who is representing the Saints. Shout out to the Saints that tune in on WBGX every day, Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 8. The Saints on WBGX, 1570 a.m. Now, you can also get us on the TuneIn app. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Now, if you're rolling with Riis and the Sinners, then you can get on every day at 6 o'clock and get here early and stay late till 9. It is the Saints from 6:30 to 8 and the Sinners from 6 to 9, Monday through Friday on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Riis, I was trying to think of my new podcast, even though I feel a little jittery about doing it since Bueller ran around here talking about can't nobody do no more podcasts. I want to do a podcast. I was thinking about the name podcast. The podcast that white people love. And then the podcast that white people love to hate. Then I was thinking about what if I took on like what if we did like the Black Bigot? Like, what if Billy Bob Black did his own podcast? Like, and it was just audible. So you can't even see it. He just, you know, like, what if, I was thinking maybe if Billy Bob Black became a regular on the show, then maybe people wouldn't write letters about me. I was thinking about that. So Riis, I'm gonna need y'all to come up with the name tag. I was thinking about the least. How about if I name it the Least Offensive Negro podcast? That I think that's it. That's it. That's it right there. You want to be a producer?
That's the one. That's the one right there.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Maybe I don't call it. What if I just call it the least offensive? Then we all got right. How can I say it in the least offensive way? Right? And I could talk about the truth as politically correct as possible. But the truth, though. And so what it would require, Riis, is a thesaurus. We need a thesaurus. And what's the other one where you find up all the words? That's a thesaurus.
No, a thesaurus is like different, with like
the same word.
Yeah. So
the thesaurus tells you like words, similar words, right?
Yeah,
but without. Yeah. So then that's what we have, and every time we have a word that we come upon, we go to the thesaurus, and instead of saying something that could be offensive, we choose a different word. And we stay the least offensive podcast ever. But we talk about the most offensive subjects in the least offensive way possible.
That can work.
But you got to subscribe. You got to pay for it, right? So if you're going to try and use it against Billy Bob Black, right? And the words and opinions of Billy Bob Black do not reflect the opinions of Mace Jackson or anybody else. Man, Riis. The least offensive podcast. I think that's it. If you're rocking with it, let me know. All right, let me say what's up to who else is out there. I said Mario, right? Richard Robinson, Quincy Frierson, Jasmine Stovall. What up, Jasmine? Khalil Van Zant. Shout out to the firemen out there. Diana Muhammad. Shout out to all the people from the nation. Rosalind Cook, Rodney Ware, Harold E.K. Williams, Jesse Ruben Juarez. What up, dog? Martha Reed, Devin Gordine, Erica Burton with the mean stuff. Hey, man, you. That's all right. I ain't even say it. Shout out to Sybil Jackson. No, Tennille, I can't make it the least offensive podcast. Tennille, you never let me have any fun. Tanya Robinson, shout out to Tanya Robinson. Shout out to, who else did I miss? I didn't. So I can't. You don't think I could do the least offensive podcast? Y'all think that would be bad? What? So just think about the gravity of this. Y'all are saying that I could be in trouble for doing the least offensive podcast. Where has the world come to? So now I'm in trouble for being the least offensive. Okay. I'm going to stop. There ain't none of this on the paper. Let me stop right now. Take a moment of silence. Riis, I don't know if the whole world understands this, but James Cole, better known as the Shine King, passed yesterday at 78. And I think he deserves a moment of silence. Shine King, James Cole. Riis, the Shine King. You ever get a pair of Timberlands? You ever give the Shine King a pair of Timberlands?
Nah, but I took my mama's stuff up there. You know how, yeah. But I seen somebody that then gave them, they then like converted it. They get to change, they change like wheat to something. Yeah. They ain't gotta tell me, but I'm from out west. So yeah, but my mom used to always take me to like get her buckles adjusted and stuff like that. So I know exactly what the one I went to was the one on Central and like Lake Street.
The Shine King, man. I think he is also. You don't get no text messages. Oh, dang. Tennille said I got to do the headlines. All right. Here goes the headlines. All right. Shine King has passed. Tony Preckwinkle, J.B. Pritzker, I don't know if you saw them yesterday in Washington, D.C., along with a whole large delegation of Illinois people. I think that this Highland Park shooting has vaulted Illinois to the forefront of the mass shooting space because I feel like it's a safe space, right? Like I don't think like Joe Biden can't get the stick from it that he needs in a place like Texas, right? And so the reason that we see this Highland Park shooting, just like, is it me or does it seem like this one is getting way more national coverage?
Yeah, because like I know a lot of people that's been talking about it. Like somebody that I know in like California, I reached out to me and asked me if everything was like okay. So it's definitely everybody. I done spoke to people in New York, Florida, Texas. They all have heard about the shooting.
And I guess my thing, man, do you realize there was a mass shooting on downtown this weekend? 4 people got shot, like, right? And then it was, like, I guess my thing is, and I really don't want to get too far into this, but this is amazing to me that in the same newspaper, I don't know. Okay. Did you know that the city is about to roll out its bike program? So you can apply to get a free bike online. You can get a bike, a lock, a chain, everything. Riis, they said they was giving away 5,000 bikes. They didn't tell us they was doing it over 4 years, though. So it's 250 bikes for 3 million people in the city. But apply online. It's okay. Nope. Shout out to Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Y'all ain't finna have me missing no paychecks. I seen how y'all did Brittany Griner. Shout out to Mayor Lori Lightfoot for her 250 bicycle giveaway in a city of 3 million people. Shout out to Mayor Lightfoot for the bike program. Do you know that the downtown shootings are up? Riis, they are saying that there are now more downtown shootings in the last year than in the last decade.
I can believe it because it's like, I come here and every time I be reading the paper, like, they just shooting downtown like crazy now. Like as a kid, I know for me, it was never like that. You know, like we looked at downtown as, you know, like, that's where you don't do that at, you know, like.
Just y'all, right, but then y'all, I remember I used to go dress up to go out to eat, and y'all like skip that too.
We dress up.
No, you don't. You wear FU shirt to the restaurant. No, I'm just playing.
I don't say it on there.
But Riis, I just think that these shootings downtown. So let me ask a question. And I don't want to get in trouble for this too, but isn't this kind of what we said we wanted? And I'm not saying we wanted shootings, but didn't we say they always protect the downtown? Well, welcome to the Terror Dome. Do you feel a certain, like, you know how you feel like it's not supposed to happen there? But why do you feel like it's not supposed to happen there, but it's okay that we accept it in our neighborhoods?
I don't think that. I just think, I don't think we accept it in our neighborhoods. We just understand that, like downtown is kind of got like a lot of like monuments and, it's like the city. So it's kind of like a main attraction. So you would protect that, man. As you can look behind you out the window. You see how that is? Look at downtown. Beautiful. Our hood don't look like that. Not saying, like I wish it does, but That's why it's
So
like
you want to protect this before your own neighborhood?
No, I don't want to protect it, but I will understand why because like a neighborhood.
Because we deserve less.
No, just look at downtown. It's just how it is. It's just like how it was built. Like it's built for like a main feature.
Like racism. Like institute. I mean, you think about it. So we gonna protect it. We gonna protect the monuments and the buildings and let the buildings and the beautiful places where white people feel safe. I just feel like, man, welcome to the club. Maybe we'll get some sort of citywide response because now it's affecting people. I mean, when I was reading, the thing is, when you read the white folks' stories and they like, I mean, this isn't supposed to happen to us. It's like spread it all out. Let everybody feel it. Because I feel like until the white people feel the pain, nothing changes, Riis. If all of these shootings were happening, like the fact that the carjackings are like Brian Hopkins said, man, they're carjacking people. They've left the south side and they're coming to the north side. Well, Riis, I gotta tell you, this is gonna be wrong, right? Riis, if it's gonna be a carjacking, where should it? If you gotta, I'm not gonna say if you gotta pick, but I am gonna say. And did you hear Brian Hopkins was like, man, Cook County Jail is half full. They got empty space. They got places for these people. My thing is, do you think? Remember when I was saying yesterday, either it don't show, either they don't know, it don't show, or they don't care what's going on in the hood. Well, now it's in their hood, and the 11 and 12-year-olds that they was telling us that it's all good with, now it's moved to the north side because maybe somebody decided maybe we shouldn't be preying upon our own people. I don't know, Riis. I remember we always say why we always tear up our own neighborhoods. Why we always do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm not encouraging it, but I am saying should you feel a special kind of way because it happened downtown? So
I don't feel a special way, but you just would expect, just like how.
You better not act up around them white people.
Just like remember how you told me when I was driving my son to Illinois State, you was like, when you get to this part right here, listen, you got to do the speed limit, because let me tell you, if you go one mile
But
over,
if you find out that you could speed and they ain't going to do nothing, you rolling through.
See, exactly. So it's like you just expecting certain, this is, I'm going to say it's kind of like the law, but man, how it is, man. When you go to
that is you are institutionalized against yourself.
When you go to certain places, just other things are more of high value, and it's taken more care of.
That's why they don't be letting black people come out to the suburbs to have their Chuck E. Cheese parties no more.
But why is that though?
Because they don't, cause y'all bring what y'all bring from the neighborhood to downtown.
Exactly.
So why you go out to the suburbs?
Because the suburbs offer more.
Okay.
They have more. Like they may have a bigger Chuck E. Cheese or have better prizes than as we'll have in a regular Chicago neighborhood.
They get different stuff in the suburbs.
For sure. Hey, go to a suburban Chuck E. Cheese and you'll be like, okay, man, that pizza may even taste better. Man, they may even have a salad bar. I done been into I think a Chuck E. Cheese that had like a adult side in the suburbs, you can. I'm like, man, they got alcohol beverages at a Chuck E. Cheese. So that's why we go out there for more things. But you have to also think about why is it that way.
That's why y'all come down. So why do people come downtown?
For better stuff from their hood.
Did they turn it out?
See, and that's why though. See, that's what I'm trying to say. It's a double-edged sword. Like why? Like I told you on Mother's Day, I went to a restaurant. Black people act black. I'm so sorry, and I mean no offense, but that's what they expecting. So the moment you give them exactly like, yeah, man, look at them, you know what I'm saying? The moment you show them that's exactly what they looking for. So that's why they act how they act. And just like how you know, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's weird, but I wish we'd do better though. But I can understand like downtown is different than a regular neighborhood. Amen. All neighborhoods should be protected equally, but you know.
But you should protect downtown more.
Probably should.
Woo! Okay, there you go.
See, not the people. You're thinking about the people. No, I'm thinking about the whole like downtown.
I'm saying.
It's the city. Come on, man. It's
saying,
downtown.
Are you more affected? Let me ask a question. Are you more affected by looting downtown or your local Walgreens being burned down?
I'm probably more affected than my local Walgreens because it's right there next to me.
Right. I'm just saying. That's all I was just thinking about. All right. Let's go to the, let me see what else I got on that thing, on this list. Steve Bannon is to testify today. Steve Bannon is planning to testify today before Congress, but he still has to go to trial for contempt of Congress next week. I wonder what Steve Bannon gonna say. Steve Bannon, a wild boy that want to be like, he wants white power for real. You know, he was Trump's lead advisor. Did you see? Okay. So I told you I'm about to start calling out the bias in white media. And I think somebody might have heard me. I just want y'all to see that today in Cranes, they announced that Cranes gives $500,000 to Latino startups. Google gives $500,000 to Latino startups. So you know I was about to jump on the article, Riis. You know I was like, how Google gonna give $500,000 to the Latino scholars? And they ain't say nothing. So the last line in the article, the last line says, Google also gave gave money to black businesses. Then they put a link in the article that goes back to October of 2020. This is 2022, where the black people got $75,000 each. 6 people had to split $450, where now the Latinos got $100,000 each. Now I'm not tripping out, but it was funny to me because they wrote this article and somebody said as they were writing the article, you know these Negroes gonna say, because they wrote the article. You know how we always talk black and brown? You know it's black and brown until it goes to Latino. When they put Latino in it, then it be like it ain't no black nowhere in that. You notice that? Like, so when they talking about us, it's black and brown and blah, 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 when they want to combine the resources. But then it be Latino when it's time to chop it up. It don't be it's black and brown when you go into the table, but then it's Latino and Latinx when it's time to chop it up. It don't be no, and then, you ever heard Latinx and black? You ever heard that?
Never.
So think about when they talk about the division of resources and passing them out. Guess what they say? Latino or Latinx. Pay attention. When it's time to collect or to go get something, they say black and brown. But then when it's time to pass it out, they be like Latino or Latinx. See, I don't be catching that stuff until you be po, broke, and lonely. It's the Mace Jackson Show. Last thing, I just think it's time for us. One of the things that I have come to the recognition, and we're going to talk about this at 8:30. Riis, do you ever hear Old Chicago?
What you mean?
The amusement park, Old Chicago?
No.
Anybody out there listening in the listening audience or on the Facebook or YouTube or Twitter world, I want you to ask, and this is a very important point. Old Chicago. Riis, Old Chicago was an indoor amusement park in the 70s that every black church took a field trip to. It was like the place that black churches took a bus and took their youth groups to. We're going to talk about Old Chicago and how it applies to black people in politics and power today. And it's literal and figurative. All right, y'all, it's the Mace Jackson Show. Those are my headlines. To Neil, who said y'all count on me for y'all news in the day. It's been some slow news, but I did get the headlines that were out there today. So look, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to, before I take a break, Riis, I was listening to WBBM AM on the way in today. I listen to it every morning. And they said that there was an outpouring of donations that were flooding in to Highland Park. And so much so that Highland Park had to create a new organization to ensure that the money that was pouring in from individuals and corporations around the world would not be going to scam groups. Hey, Riis, where does the money go in the case of a Highland Park shooting? And I humbly, respectfully ask this. Hit the button real quick, because this is what I want to ask. Hit the button.
It's time for the social media question of the day.
Where do the donations go post-shooting? I was wondering, they were saying that, I was thinking about my man Corey Brooks, who, regardless of how you feel about him, goes hard for O-Block and all of this stuff. He slept on the roof for like hundreds of days, Riis, trying to raise money to build a community center. Right? You talk about the number of murders and the number of killings and all of this stuff, and it took Ken Griffin, the billionaire, to give him $5 million on his way out the door to leave to go to Florida. To get the money to try and do something to address the violence, continue to address the violence, because I would tell you that I think he's brought a lot of resources over there. But Riis, where does the money go in the case? Like, I always know, like, when there's a shooting or a shots or something that happens in Chicago, usually there's a GoFundMe, but it's usually to pay for the funeral costs, right? Where does the money go? They're saying that they have been tremendously overwhelmed with donations. And so I wonder, like, I understand the instinct to donate cash, and I'm not knocking it, but what do you do? What does the money go towards? Does it go towards building another institution? Or should the money go to violence prevention and the violence prevention programs that we already have in the state, and they need to get does Metropolitan Family Services need to go open up an office in Highland Park? Right? Like, what? Are we creating a new institution to address the same problem? Is it different in Highland Park? Is the gun problem that's plaguing our country different? Should there be a new institution, and what does the money go to? Because does the money go to stop violence, or does it go to build a new institution that's specific to Highland Park? Everybody else isn't privy to. Do they have a special program? Do they have something that is going on in Highland Park? No diss at all. But if you're sending, let's say, millions of dollars to Highland Park to address this issue, where does it go and how is it sustained? And is it different than what already happens in the state? And if so, why is there a need for a special program or strategy for Highland Park that we're not willing or not applying in the rest of the state? You know what I'm saying? Like, so are they using this money to create a program specific to Highland Park? And does Highland Park have a secret recipe or a secret understanding or something that they know that they can do that the rest of us don't?
guess it's a smaller area, so maybe they can, I hope that the majority of that it will not. Well, I hope that all the funerals are actually paid for. If they said that they had to make another organization, just because it was so much more money pouring into them. But I guess it's a smaller town, so for them, I guess they can probably use the extra money for like better protection resources. So, like Chicago is $3 million. Like what's Highland Park? A couple of 100,000 or something like that.
Ain't even a couple.
Exactly. So you take that money and now you can, because it's smaller people, now build it's more to put in Chicago. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a bigger, like in Chicago, it's so big in Chicago.
They got $500 million already committed to.
At $500 million?
Yeah.
$500 million?
Reese, do you know they spent $500 million on 5 communities? 5. Go to, and I'm going to tell you this at a different day, and you're going to go look at it. It's called the $1 Million Blocks, right? There are 5 neighborhoods in the city of Chicago in which they spend $500 million on 5 neighborhoods on policing, incarceration, recidivism, etc. Yes.
And they was one of them? And they was one of them?
No, not Highland Park. But my point is, there is hundreds of millions of dollars in the state of Illinois that is devoted to violence prevention. So my thing is, are we going to deploy, let's say, Aklevis, let's say Tyrone Muhammad, right? My thing is, all of these organizations that we have in the state of Illinois to address violence and gun crime and violence prevention, why aren't we donating to the overall issue? Why is it specific? Is it specific now because it's white folks? Like, is it like, let me put my money over? Like, I don't want my money going to stopping violence in all the neighborhoods. I want my money going to protect our neighborhood specifically. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I am curious to know where are those donations going, and does it build another institution that from now on we're spending money trying to fund the staff as compared to, because after about a year, and I would say I think that the city, county, state, everybody involved, if you are involved in a mass shooting, Reese, you know how you said you think everybody there who was involved in the mass shooting should have their funeral paid for? Is that the same case when it happened on 75th? Do people feel that way? Do people feel that way when the people get shot outside of the funeral home? Do we feel like all of the funerals should be paid for, or did those people who happen to be there deserve it and the other people didn't?
If it's the same outpouring of money, so that's what I was trying to say. I was trying to say, if the money is coming in there, then of course, but if there's no money, then, but if it's the same issue of, like, if it happened in the city and it's an outpouring of money, then of course, then it should be paid for if it's an outpouring of money.
My question is, though, why is there a difference in the outpouring of money in Highland Park as compared to an outpouring of money when the people got shot on 75th Street? And who are the people that have the outpouring of money? See, my thing is, do the other people deserve to be shot? Like, I've never really seen a flooding of money go to any inner city shootings. My question is, like, so when you saw 15 people shot, 60 people shot, 15, where was there an outpouring of money? Why is, right? Like, and where does it go? That outpouring of money, like, you're saying that everybody's funeral should have been paid for. Yeah?
That's what I think. If you talking about.
Now, what if it wasn't an outpouring of money? Should the government pay for it?
I think they should pay for it if nobody had no insurance.
Does that same apply in Chicago?
If they had no insurance?
Mm-hmm.
Depends. Is it a mass killing, or is it just?
It was a mass shooting outside of on 75th Street.
And there was some outpouring money that day.
No, there was no outpouring of money.
Then and they should then.
Okay, I'm just curious. Give us a call 872-259.
That's the reason why it's policing, right? Like, if you
if you get, so you're saying now if you get shot as part of
at an event like that. I'm at a paraded event that's supposed to be that you can probably walk around and see 1 million police officers, guaranteed, chilling, doing whatever. I feel like at that event, I'm at a event. It should be like I should be protected. Yes, the city should pay
by
for
12 or by the police.
By 12 and the police. If I'm at a government event, that's a parade for the city, and I get shot at the city, yeah, you should sue the city and they should pay for it. Yes, for sure. Because at the door, I'm pretty sure it's a scanner where I can't bring my gun in. So you done supposed to make sure there's no guns, no nothing, and I'm out there chilling with my family, and that thing I know is I hear gunshots, and people getting shot. Then yes, you should sue the city because I'm supposed to be protected by the law, and they did a horrible job at it. No offense, I guess y'all didn't know that, but still.
All right. I just feel like there's just such bias in this whole thing to me. Like, I don't know. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, was there any calls on that social media question of the day? 872-259-7474. Where do the donations in Highland Park go? Are there calls? Caller, you on the Mace Jackson Show. What's up? Caller? Hello?
Yo, what's going on, bro? What's up, Riis? What's up, Maze? What's cracking, bro?
What up, Devo? President of BP1. What's up, my brother?
Nothing, man. What's the question? So every municipality requires licensing and permitting for special events. And included within those permits and licenses for these events is insurance and some sort of safety and security plan. And in those safety and security plans, you got to list out all the risks and hazards that may be involved. So you can't have a stage over 2 feet. You got to have an evacuation plan. You got to how we're going to park the cars, how to, porta potties, all of that stuff. So you got to have, who's going to do your security. You got to have all of that stuff, man. And the bigger the event, the more robust the plan has to be. So, if I'm doing the after action on this event, how did they not know that somebody could get in a higher position than them to become an active shooter?
See, that's that professionalism.
That's what I'm saying. I told you.
But again, that's a safety security plan. So if there's insurance there, then the government pays for it. Where's the rest of the money going in? What you doing? If you ain't paying for the funerals, what you doing? And
that's the whole thing, bro. Like, so they not. Right, go ahead, man. No, it's hypocrisy, and because we can read and we can count and we can remember, we're aware, so we can recall. We see that it's not handled the same, and that's where the hypocrisy comes, and then it turns into the whataboutism. So when when the black people that always like to be on the other side of stuff, they say, well, why does everybody always have to do the whataboutism? It's because we can read and count, and we have eyes, and it's not handled the same. When the governor went on Face the Nation, the host asked him the correct question of why is the perception that Highland Park is handled differently than Chicago. And he danced around the issue like he kind of always does, because we know it's handled differently. All we ask for is fairness and equality. And every time they have the opportunity to do it, they show that it can't. Just like when in Evanston, they swept that under the rug. If it happened somewhere else, then it would have been, but they conveniently swept it under the rug. for a few weeks, and then it pops back up. So we can read and count, and we got eyes, and we, you know, God bless us, we got functioning brains to recall information. But we know that it got handled separately. And where's the money going? Tyrone was just on WLS. Where's the money going? Hey man, hey, we know it. We know it's a trick, bro. We know it's a trick. Where's the money going? Where's the anti-violence money going? Where's cred at? Where's cred?
They don't. The money is not in white violence prevention because white people aren't violent. The lab rats are on the south and west side. I'm not gonna even go there. But you see what I'm saying? Like, again, this is my point. So we spend all of these hundreds of millions of dollars. We got the cannabis money, we got the green money, we got all of this, and you mean to tell me that there is a separate fund for the violence in Highland Park is different than the violence everywhere else? And we have a separate something? I want to understand what's going on. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We got anybody else on that line? All right, y'all. Devo, we appreciate you. That is Devo, the man. We'll be back after these messages. We're going to talk a little bit about what do black people have to defend ourselves in the political world. I want to talk about it a little bit more when we come back. It's the Maze Jackson Show.
WIFTBPM.
Maze Jackson.
Uh-oh, what's in it for the black people?
I want to know, is there an offensive black people list? Who manages it, and do black people have to honor it?
Maze. You're Uncle Tom. That's why you're an offensive. And the reason why you're Uncle Tom is the real story of Uncle Tom. How he worked for his freedom, and then the slave master reneged on him and wouldn't let him get his freedom. So you know what he did? He left. You're messing with the church's money. You were smart enough to work your way off, so you offended the white folks, and then you offended the black folks because your ass left, and because they wouldn't. And who manages the left is both black folks and white folks, because if you see in that situation, the black folks is just as mad as the white slave owner that Uncle Tom left.
What happens if you say that and someone gets offended?
You ran off the plantation, brother. That's why you're offended. That's all I got, bro. Keep being offensive.
Thank you.
Maze Jackson.
No. Ooh. One time, no. Ooh, yeah.
Crescent moon, drop top cruising, old school music, old school juicy. Gotta make my way to you. Pull up on that ass like, ooh, I wanna take you to New York, Chicago, LA, Houston, down all over London, Paris, the A, the B, everywhere. I'll take you downtown, girl. Show you all the finer things in life. I wanna take you downtown. Show you all the finer things in life. I wanna take you down. I wanna take you down. I wanna take you down. Show you all the finer things in life. I wanna take you down. Show you all the finer things in life.
Lake Shore. I made sure to make sure, that my place yours. 28th floor, I had 8 thoughts, all 8 yours, cake for dessert, but I ate yours.
I wanna take you to New York, Chicago, LA, Houston, down all over London, Paris, the A, the B, everywhere. Fly all over. Your last boy couldn't get what you asked for. Your last boy didn't even have. I'm gonna take you downtown, girl. Show you all the finer things in life. I wanna take you down. things in life. I wanna take you downtown, and show you all the finer things in life.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
Try to be around and can't protect us. We see the lies, not other politicians. We need money and no symbolism. It's Maze and Riis and Ruthie and Ty, explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we united, our movement gon' stop. If they ain't trying to help us, they ain't trying to do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect you oppressed to solve them.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man DJ Riis the Ruler on the ones and twos. On the ones and twos, man. And I'm your host, Maze Jackson. No calls on the line, Riis. All right, let's move on to a new topic. Tennille, did I cover enough news? Tennille snapped on me on my text. She was like, you around here talking to Riis like you ain't got nothing to do. I was like, sorry, man. I'm sorry. So I got to get back to the papers. So I got in the headlines. I got in the social media question of the day. Riis, I wanted to talk about this. I was out of town when the story popped up. Did you see the story? About State Senator Feigenholtz being called a what was she called, Riis? She was called the Archdiocese of Chicago. Let me read the story. The Archdiocese of Chicago criticizes Archdiocese of Chicago criticizes Northside State Senator over Roe versus Wade post. The image posted to Facebook by State Senator Sarah Feigenholtz sparked criticism from religious leaders, including the Archdiocese, which labeled it bigoted imagery. A Northside State Senator has apologized after being blasted by the Archdiocese of Chicago and religious leaders over a cartoon image she posted on social media in reaction to the U.S. Supreme Court's overturning of Roe versus Wade. Hours after the court issued the ruling June 24th ending federal protection of abortion rights, State Senator Sarah Feigenholtz, Democrat from Chicago, posted the image to Facebook depicting a Catholic pope or bishop pointing a handgun at the back of the head of a pregnant Statue of Liberty. That, according to a screenshot captured by the Chicago Republican Party of the image, which was taken down within a day. The Statue of Liberty figure was pictured holding a tablet in her left hand that refers to Genesis 38:24, a verse in the Bible in which a woman is threatened to be burned alive. The image sparked criticism in religious circles, including the Archdiocese, which labeled it bigoted imagery. Now, I want there's some real interesting points to this. Riis, does this? I want you to pay attention to this too. So here's the players we got right now. We have State Senator Sarah Feigenholtz, white woman, member of, I believe, the Jewish community, is now being called. Now, I would call, after the letters that I received and the understanding that I have, I recognize that the Jewish community has been one of the most oppressed communities in the history of the world, and it is unfathomable the treatment that has happened to them. Right? So can you imagine being treated being part of that group and then being called a bigot by, hold on now, the Archdiocese, right? Which is the Catholic Church, which was the precursor to the colonization of the world. Yes? So, no shade. So, State Senator Sarah Feigenholtz, who is a member of one of the most oppressed groups in history, posts an image as a white liberal woman of the Statue of Liberty being assassinated by a pope or a cardinal. Okay? To which the Catholic Church responds, labeled it bigoted imagery. We must, listen to this, we must not tolerate hate speech against any group in society, for history has shown that when it goes unchallenged, it can become normalized. A written statement from the Archdiocese of Chicago said, the senator's public comments on the matter have shown regrettably little understanding of the offense caused by her posting. Okay, so let's do this again. State Senator, woman, liberal, member of the Jewish community, State Senator Sarah Feigenholtz, one of the most oppressed groups, is now being called a bigot by the Archdiocese of Chicago. Now, you got to imagine somewhere in her mind, she's like, how in the world could I, who am standing up for women's rights, how could I possibly be called a bigot as a woman of a marginalized community? How does a white male-dominated organization get to call me, in defense of my people, a bigot? Is anybody, does this, okay, so I'm not going to talk about the current history. I'm not going to talk about any of the things that has happened within the realm of the Archdiocese of Chicago, right? I don't even need to talk about none of that, right? Because we already understand that. Y'all whoop me for sending my kid to a Catholic school for some of the same reasons, right? Can you imagine what she thought when she got a letter telling her that she was now a bigot? As a white Jewish woman, liberal, in defense of women, posts an image, touches a subject that is The whole world recognizes this is the biggest image, and right now, she is now being called a bigot. Sound familiar? Probably a little ironic considering she orchestrated a letter. She was part of a letter writing campaign, and within 30 days, she's being accused of being a bigot. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you. Will that be in every article every single time that she says or makes a statement from now on? Because that wasn't her husband. She did it. She made the bigoted comments, posted the bigoted picture. Or is it not bigoted? So here's the response. I was wrong for an elected official to present such a violent image, especially when our city and nation are still reeling from the recent acts of heinous gun violence, the statement said. Now, mind you, okay. It was wrong because it disrespected the contributions of that religious communities of all faiths have made in creating a safe society and an environment of civil discourse to counter the dangerous polarization that has gripped our nation. Do y'all remember me last week, 2 weeks ago, saying that the Democratic Party has used racism and bigotry in a way that is dangerous in an effort to pin somebody to the wall? You have now opened up a gate where white men can call everybody else a bigot. So right now, can you imagine? Here is this white woman of an oppressed, marginalized group, one of the most marginal. They taught me, right? They taught me. Within 30 days, you talking gun violence, bigotry, anti-Catholic, anti-church, anti-religion. Let me ask you a question. Where's the outrage? Anybody write a letter? See, here's what, can I tell you what I was trying to explain to y'all the other day? Riis, turn me up in my headphones a little bit. I feel like I lost a little something. What I was trying to tell you, probably like you talking too loud, so you probably, I was hollering, you turned down my headphones, down my mic. Riis, remember when I told you white people getting to run around here and call black people bigots, knowing the roles that everybody has playing stupid as a political tactic now opens the door. So now you get to be a bigot for anything. Can you imagine that after sending the letter, and remember, let me give you the white racism, right? Because she's gonna be, Riis, do you think every time they say Sarah Feigenholtz, they'll call her an anti-Catholic bigot? Do you think every time they write her name, they'll say, oh, and she's having trouble because she was accused of being an anti-Catholic bigot? Every story? Because there go your white bias right there. Right? There goes, that's the benefit of being white. Now, again, Riis, she said it. Not her husband, not somebody else. She said it. She posted it. And opened the door. The Democratic Party has opened. Remember, you ever heard of reverse racism? Remember how that used to piss black people off? Because a white guy would be like, I'm a victim of reverse racism. So last week, 2 weeks ago, when y'all was running around allowing other people to come into our community and call us to pretend like we don't know what the real history is, to call it bigoted, to call a black man a bigot in Chicago, knowing the history of race relations here, I find a tad bit of irony that like less than 3 weeks later, and I guess my thing is, did she stand up and renounce? She didn't apologize to the cat. She said that religious commitment, that religious community. Who is that religious community? That doesn't seem very sincere to me. Feigenholtz said her post came on an incredibly traumatic day, not just for me, but for women around the country in the aftermath of the Supreme Court of the United States decision to overturn a woman's right to choose. My stories came immediately after they tried to strip us of our political power. It was traumatic, Riis. It was traumatic. I posted an image that spoke to the moment. We shoot people in the moment? And then later learned it offended people. Wait, you didn't know that was offensive? So I immediately removed the post as I meant no ill will towards anyone who found it offensive. I'm sorry you were offended. Not, you know what, Riis, you know what they say, when you apologize, they be like, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry, if that hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, I have and will continue reaching out to friends and community members with the hope of healing. The Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago condemned the anti-Catholic characters and inflammatory rhetoric. Regardless of our personal or political views on abortion, bigotry, okay, now it's not lost on me who is using the word bigotry and who is being accused of the word bigotry. And guess what? Ain't nobody black in there. Has no place in our community, the group said in a written statement. There are more than 2 million Catholics in the Archdiocese of Chicago. As a council composed of almost every religious tradition in Chicago, we cannot accept the demonization of any faith community. Feigenholtz, a longtime former state representative, is finishing her first term in the Senate and is up for re-election in November. The Chicago Republican Party called for her resignation over what will be termed viciously anti-Catholic actions. The posting of this disgusting cartoon has finally openly exposed the deep contempt held by Senator Feigenholtz and her liberal woke colleagues towards not only the Catholic Church, but towards the Christian religion in general, Steve Bolton said of the Chicago Republican Party. Abortion rights remain protected in Illinois under state law. See, Riis, I think that we've let people run amok. We have allowed the expansion of racism. We have allowed the inclusion of every group, issue, subset be piled into our fight. And now we've been moved out of the fight to now a point where white people are calling white people bigots. After excluding the black, after marginalizing black, like Riis. Riis? I guess my question is, does every time Senator Feigenholtz's name come up, do they call her an anti-Catholic bigot? Does the white media do the same way that they do black people? Or does she get to apologize and walk away from that? And then if she does get to apologize and walk away from that and the media doesn't, it proves my point on the white bias. No? She posted the Catholics killing the statue. Now let me tell you what's the craziest part about this, Riis. We know everybody's history in the fight. So there's really not a reason for me to be defending the Catholic Church. All things considered, right? Let's just say they're still working through some challenges. And even as they're working through these challenges, Riis, they can still go on the offense and call someone a bigot. You see how backwards that is? Kind of like, fam, you got some real issues you got to deal with. But what they said was, well, while we dealing with our issues, don't you get it twisted. We still who we are. See, we have allowed our, you know how I talk about the birthright, and you know how y'all be getting mad at me about the birthright? This is your birthright being restolen again. We are now in a place where the extra white wokeness has become so offensive to every damn body that white folks are using it against white folks, but soon they'll be using it against us. We saw the Democrats use bigotry against black people in this last election in Cook County. Feigenholtz a part of it. Right? As part of the liberal white crew that likes to be on Slack and has all their staffers talking about wokeness and talking about toxic relationships and, you know, sharing their whole thing, I guess my question becomes, how do we now as black people find ourselves in Cook County where people accused of bigotry can call black people bigots? We have to get back in control of our narrative. We now live in a bizarro world where white people can come into black spaces and tell black people that they can't talk about their pain and suffering no more because it's offensive to white people. And we'll get that when we can. And we have seen the woke white people, and it's not just the woke white people, because we have allowed white liberals to steal our argument, use us as a black shield, and then turn on us while using us as the shield. Think about the gravity of this. How many black people... Okay, let me do it like this. Black people are the shield for the white phobia anti-crew. Does that make sense? So bigotry and all of that stuff really started, let me not say it started, but let's just say that for a general argument, bigotry was really white folks against black folks. Can we agree with that for a general premise? Like, when we typically refer to bigotry, and I'm not saying it doesn't apply to other groups, but when we think of bigotry initially, we think of it as white folks being bigots to black folks. Bigotry, though, as we as black folks have allowed everyone to come under our umbrella, whether it is Asians, Latinos, people of color. Now we've expanded to LGBTQIA. We've also expanded to trans, etc. As we expand all of these things under the umbrella that used to be bigotry reserved for black people, now everybody puts themselves, anybody can be a victim of bigotry. And I'm not saying that it couldn't be, but the overall arching concern was not anti-Catholic bigotry. The overarching concern was anti-black bigotry because that was the most open display. Am I making sense here? So we still operate from the standpoint that bigotry is reserved for us. So if you get called bigot, it's one of the worst things in the world. But now what has happened is every subgroup is using the bigotry that has occurred against black people as the shield to throw the word bigotry up. Because, Riis, nobody wants to be a bigot. Nobody wants to be a racist. They can't really use racist because racist is kind of still reserved for black. But if you still think bigot is reserved for black, well, now nobody wants to be called a racist. Nobody wants to be called a bigot. Now everybody runs under that shield. So just like 2 weeks ago or a month ago, Latinos, LGBTQ, and Jewish people were able to accuse me of bigotry, a black man who is at a disadvantage in this city, state, county. White folks like, oh, well, if the woke white folks can call black people bigots, well, then let us get in on it. And so now what you have is the range of bigotry now being opened up to anybody who feels discriminated against to claim it, ignoring the origin of what the real conversation, not the origin, but the connotation that goes in people's mind. Riis, when you see a shooting in Chicago, the connotation in your mind is that's black. If you see a shooting in Highland Park, the connotation is there's victims. And I need for y'all to understand that the same thing, and I was watching Dave Chappelle, and it brought this all around. If you think about the concept of how racism and anti and everything else is used, it is now used as a tool to silence or oppress anybody that is in the black space or in the space that's supposed to be counted on in the liberal. They are now using that to shut you down. Riis, I would argue that there are more black people that lean right in their thinking, but associate Republican with racism. But if you were to put a country white boy next to a country black person, or Riis, a Southside black woman next to a down South white man, and you took the issue, you would find that their values are probably close. Right? Like sort of how you was okay with the Richard Irvin. Like I would tell you that if you were to compare black people to the purple-haired, orange fighting women that are out on the streets that are fighting in these marches, you would find that there's not a lot of comparativeness to them. I would tell you that black people lean more extreme, but because of our historic relationship with the Republican Party as of late, and I'm not encouraging anybody to go be Republican. That's not my point. What happens, Riis, is that the liberal white audience takes us for granted, and if you don't espouse or you speak up and say, I don't think that way, then they can use the tool of bigotry against you. If you say, man, I'm pro this, that, and I want to stand up for my rights, they got to be able to find a way to shut you down. If you ask me to tell you what are my priorities, and I tell you that the top 3 things y'all talking about for black people don't resonate with me, and I don't want to talk about those issues, then guess what I become? A bigot. Because can I tell you what? I don't think that the top 3 priorities for white people, for black people, are the same top 3 priorities for black people. Let me ask you a question. And yesterday I posted this on social media. What is the most significant black gain in politics over the last 20 years? Do you know I got no responses? When I ask you, who are the black people that reflect your values in politics? Who are the black people that you feel like line up, that if they had to... The question becomes, who reflects our values? Riis, I got to tell you that the people that are talking right now, the people that are, I don't know that I feel like they aren't representing black people. They are representing the party, and they're not reflecting our viewpoints. I think all you have to do is look at I hate using this, but you look at the assessor's race, right? And you see that black people wasn't going. All these white people called us, and all the black politicians ran and hid and stood away, and they was like, oh, I can't be called this. Not one the black people didn't run away from you for standing up for yourself. I don't know who we see reflected that really, like, is Tony Preckwinkle our swordsman? Is that who represents our interests in politics? That is not scared to say, no, I don't agree with this, that. Do you agree that the top priority for black people in politics right now is abortion?
For sure.
Is it? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. What are the top issues for black people? So the top 3 issues I got for black people, according to the Democratic Party, are abortion rights, gun control, and the war in Ukraine.
There ain't reparations?
You think so? I'm asking.
Over the war in Ukraine, for sure.
Where we seeing that reflected in any politician. But I want to ask you, what are the top 3 black priorities politically, and do we see those priorities reflected anywhere in our government? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Do you see black values represented in government? And if so, where and how? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. I want to know who, right, who represents my mom? Because my mom is definitely not represented by... Well, she probably... My mom probably represented by Republicans. But that's a different story. Tell me who... Riis, so you think that abortion rights is the number 1 issue for black people right now?
I don't think it's the number 1, but I know it's definitely an issue for sure. Like that's what for sure my generation. Like everywhere I go, we all at least comes up once.
Okay, I want to. So is that where all of our effort should be? Is that where our number 1 priority of effort for black folks should be? I don't know. No, give us a call, 872-259-7474. What are the top 3 black priority issues, and are they reflected anywhere in our elected officials, in our government? Like, where do you see black priorities? Where do you see black priorities reflected? I guess my thing is, because here's the thing: do you know that they're calling all the legislators back to Springfield? Like, session was over, and they are going to have a special session in Springfield, Riis, to address abortion rights that aren't under assault in Illinois and the problem of gun violence after what we saw in Highland Park. So check this out. The governor of the state of Illinois is calling all the legislators back in the House and the Senate to pass what essentially is symbolic legislation. Because, again, abortion rights are not under attack in Illinois. Matter of fact, remember, this is going to be the safe haven. So, my question, and then when you see that they're going to also go back to Springfield to try and pass new laws to address gun violence, it says to me, Riis, he's pulling the whole government back. That if they want to fix a problem or attempt, then they can. So as I look at this, and I'm not saying that cannabis is our number one thing, but if you telling me that you're going to bring everybody back to Springfield and say, ain't nobody leaving until we figure this out, and there's no cannabis, black cannabis, and there's no black gaming, Riis, they can figure out what they want to figure out. And so knowing that your whole entire government is going back to Springfield to make the priorities gun control and abortion rights, I gotta ask you, do we have anything more important on our agenda? Maybe I'm incorrect. Or maybe I'm saying, can we get something black on that agenda? Or was the black agenda that I passed before, is that it and we get bail reform? Give me a call, 872-259-7474. Call you on the Mace Jackson Show. What's up?
Hi, this is Katie. Good morning.
Hey, Katie. What's up, President of the Phone Club? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You're doing very well today. You do well every day, but today is, the subject matter is something else. But I would say that I'm very interested in the black people thriving and surviving. They talk about our wealth is going to be nothing in about 20 years. I'm just interested in black people thriving, surviving. I mean, that's one of my main issues. I want reparations, and I want us to have a better life, because right now it's not doing good. I want us in on the weed. I want us with the dispensaries. I want us in on the gaming. We're not getting hardly anything. And abortion is not, I don't think we are, that's on our main, on our table right now. I think thriving and surviving.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody on WBGX 1570 AM. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. The show is not over. We're going to continue this thing. We're going all the way till 9 o'clock. So if you got a comment, if you got something you want to say to us on this comment, don't hesitate to give us a call, 872-259-7474. What are the blackest issues? I guess my thing is, if gun control and abortion, we're going to have a special session on gun control and abortion in Springfield. Governor is bringing everybody back. Abortion rights are safe in Illinois. At least that's what I was under the impression of, right? I thought that we were going to be the oasis in the Midwest. Now, maybe we're passing laws to bring more people in and to fund it and all of that stuff. And so I'll be interested to see. And then when we look at the gun violence, the gun control, they're coming back to deal with gun control. Is there an opportunity now to fix or to give us something? Do we have any other priorities? Is there anything else that's more important to us as black people than abortion rights and gun control? Maybe Ukraine? I'm feeling a certain way about Ukraine too, man. But I do think that it is amazing. It's amazing to me what is possible and how far people are willing to go when you care or value the lives of the victims. they used to say, wasn't it something like you could measure the values of a country by how they treat their poorest? Well, niggas die every day. And we go on about our daily business. Like every day. We step over their bodies and we keep going. I could not be helped but struck by the fact that the President of the United States yesterday wore a Highland Park Strong ribbon as he addressed the nation. They talked about all the people that were there, all the victims of gun violence from Chicago who were in the place. They talked about all the elected officials. I saw President Preckwinkle, J.B. Pritzker, they were all on the White House lawn cheesing and smiling. About the great action that was taken. And I could not help but think, Riis, that the same week, a 5-month-old baby, matter of fact, in the same damn 24-hour span, was it a 10-month-old baby was killed? We had more people shot in Chicago. It was 12 pages of stories. And I couldn't understand how there was 12 pages of stories for 6 people and 5 paragraphs for 6 people and 30 shot. And there was 5 paragraphs for 10 people dead and 60 shot. And I do think back to when people was pumping their fists up during George Floyd, talking about Black Lives Matter. White politicians standing at the mics, pumping their fist and giving violence prevention dollars to everybody but us. I thought about them as they was pumping their fists and took the cannabis, took the gaming. And I just think about, like, man, how many times do we have to do they display it to us? Like, y'all, they went all the way to Washington, D.C. to be there to take pictures. And I have compassion for everyone that loses their life. But I think this is the biggest moral value display. And I don't know if it's just me that this is just this blatantly obvious about. Like, I bet you if you go to the paper today, the first 5 pages. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after these messages.
Show. We'll be back after this break.
WIIFTBPM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Jackson.
Tune in to The Maze Jackson Show every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., where you can catch us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Plus, from 6:30 to 8, you can get us on WBGX 1570 AM. That's right, it's The Maze Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them, Maze said. We out of here. Peace.
Broken screen? Crash system? Are you in need of spyware or virus removal from your computer? Well, contact RPC Computer Repair in South Shore and let us help you with all your computer repair services and print needs. Need office or print production services, copies, scans, fax, or even notary service? Then stop by and support RPC Computer Repair and Print Shop located 1741 East 71st Street in the 71st Street corridor, newly revitalized South Shore areas, and let RPC be your one-stop shop, where we believe RPC is your PC. RPC Computer Repair is also a UPS access point where you can drop off and pick up your important packages. So let RPC be of service to you. Call RPC Computer Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. at 773-966-4457. That's 773-966-4457. Visit RPC at rpccomputeringinc.com for more information.
The skin I'm in fit me fine, tailor-made, yeah, I'm comfortable. And so it seems I'm still chasing my dreams. They told me, watch my steps, they want to pull the rug from under you. This is transparency, my life 3D. You live every word that I utter, reporting live from the gutter. Where the mind's hard to change, but we don't give up on our brothers and sisters. Cause we all need one another. The time's getting closer, revolution, feel it coming. I just smell it in the air. Inhale it, let it embody you. Because chances are the cops pull you over, they body you. Plus we don't trust each other, so it's just another obstacle. Why jump hurdles to make a change? It ain't optional. Olympian mindset in this booth with my binoculars. I see my vision getting clear. Justice what a prophet do. My music touch the people's soul. Black power gospel tunes. So many styles, watch me kick them like they soccer moves. Falling rank and file, this is my platoon. Soldiers at attention, ain't no Willie lynching. This the program. Who they think they kidding? Reinvent the system. Total reconstruction of our mental stigma. This ain't a game, boy. Still they think I'm talking about Nintendo's. That's a shame, boy. Augment reality. Better fix your brain, boy. I love my people, hope they love me black. I'm going hard and ain't no holding back. Watch me react. I put my fist up in the skies like a beacon for believers that one day we return to our greatest if we seek it. All the glory we can obtain and keep reaching. I'm painting this picture, I hope you see it. Just what the theme is. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey, hey, hey. Well, how about you to sing these tunes too? Customize for you a little something you can grow to. Feeling good about yourself. Melanated mood muse. Always service humble pie. We don't care about who's who. Light brown or dark skin. This right here's for you too. We are the gods of the earth. Living proof truth. Say it loud. If you black and proud, I salute you and that's a fact. Where you at? Let me hear you say it back. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey, hey, hey. Super melanation, renovation of our databases. Gotta fix the trinity to make it past the mason. There's a rabbit in the hole. No decision, you gon' chase it or just shove it for complacency. Here's your motivation.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Ty Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah.
let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case, he was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happening in town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Man, got my man DJ Riis the Rule in the building, and I was just, I'm just thinking, man. I am, Riis, I'm tired of woke. I think woke has been hijacked. I think it has become a tool of white oppression. I think that white folks get to run around. They put themselves in this category, which makes them feel as though they have unadulterated license. And I gotta tell you that I am starting to. I was just thinking about being called racist or being called a bigot, Riis. It really cooks me that white folks. Yeah, I learned a lot. Let's go to the live line. Caller, you on the Maze Jackson Show. What you got for me today?
What you want? What you want? Shalom, shalom. Hallelujah way.
What up, Israel? How you feeling, man?
Man, woke ain't been hijacked. Don't get it twisted. Man, I told you, give Hebrews about a half hour on your show. We tell me real woke is. I'll be hearing Jacob and some other brothers on there. Hello?
I'm listening.
Riis ain't get it. Look, man, I got a lot of impact with you, man. I'm gonna start with let yourself on.
Man, you better get
they won 2022.
You better tell that he had the Trump. Now, look, he had Trump Tower up there and his phone clicking.
Yeah, I'm still the Trump Tower. Yeah,
he got the click. It's clicking.
Yeah, I'm the Trump Tower.
I'm telling you, they got a bad antennas blocker up there because you clicking in and out. But go ahead, let you try.
Like I say, they won in 2022, but we going for Trump in 2024. So I'm saying. I don't care what's clicking. I'm just telling you the truth. I thought about you was just talking, man. Listen, white people be on TV. It used to be on TV. The white man was a Republican and the white was a Democrat, vice versa. I'm just giving you a hint. I ain't gonna say too much more. But man, I don't like it.
You talking about George Carville and Matt and old girl? I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah,
but I'm saying
that's a white privilege though, right? Like a white person.
But I'm saying I don't know why you like that abusive. I don't know why you. That guy named Overjelly said years ago he was punt faking when Ronald was running. He was over there spying probably because he was like, man, I'm mad at Democrats. I guess Quinn them gave him a hard time. He's like, I don't like abusive relationships. So I don't understand how y'all enjoy these abusive relationships. You know, especially how they did Kerry, David Moore. I thought David Moore crying on your show. I couldn't believe it. What do you thought White Jesse and them was going to be for him? But anyway, man, I got my phone. I ain't saying nothing illegal. I hope I am being recorded. Everything I'm saying to you is being recorded. So I ain't tripping. But anyway, no black in gaming in cannabis. Like I say, this is not to unpack with you, brother. You know, I would say something about that Pope, but I don't want to get you kicked off the station. And you know, it's 4,199 religions out here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We letting you talk.
Oh, okay, you got your quiet. Okay, thank you.
And you watching on the delay, you watching on a delay, so you watching the show, and you like a minute behind. So you got to go ahead and talk.
Okay. Okay, no problem. We treated like second-class citizens in third world country. I don't know why black people, we don't spread our vote. We go with the Democrat. They tricked my mother. I ain't going for the trick. Okay, go for the banana in the tailpipe. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican, but I am a Trumpster. The world know that. So, you know, like I said, they won in 2022. I'm waiting on 2024 to come around, but right now I'm trying to turn this state red with that guy out of Effingham. I want to go down to Effingham, visit, see some of his little racist friends or whatever. I even asked him. I saw him in Trump Tower. I said, are you racist? He said no. So, you know, I mean, all I go is face value. But as my brother Conrad and Mark, I say, ain't no racist white Republicans in charge in Illinois or Chicago. So what the hell, man? When we going to wake up? But, you know, I ain't finna keep trying to wake people up. I'm just keep moving. And like I said, I'm the king now. I'm tired of everybody. And I want somebody to challenge it. I don't care. And their approval ain't needed for me. I've been on this earth 55 years. Ain't nobody did nothing for me but me. You ain't got no receipts on me, May. You always say, I got receipts on the activist. No, not this one.
Okay.
Shalom, hello?
Shalom. All right.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm running for the record. Like I say, for the last time, I saw them faces on the White House line. Go on how they fuck it. They ain't going to be there in 2024 on that White House line. So I'm going to leave it there, brother. Shalom.
Shalom. It's the Maze Jackson Show. That is King Israel. What else? We got anybody else out there? Let's call it. You on the Maze Jackson Show. What are the most important issues to black folks? They're having a special session in Springfield. They're going to take up gun violence. They are going to take up gun violence and abortion rights protection or women's health care protection. I do wonder where do those rank, and do we have anything that we want in the special session? What's up, caller? What you got for me? Who are you? Where you calling from?
Hey, Maze. It's Lucretia. Can you hear me okay?
Hey, Lucretia. That is the Black Remembrance Project. Let me tell y'all what. And Lucretia always be giving me the business. She be giving me the business. But we know, Lucretia, that you are at the forefront. We're at the forefront of our Juneteenth fight. And I know we be giving it the business, but we 100% are in support of you and everything that you are doing. And I celebrated Juneteenth. I just wasn't going to Target to get none of my gifts.
Nice.
Hey, what's up, Lucretia? How you feeling this morning, sis?
Hey, Maze, I'm feeling good. I missed a little bit of your show, but I did see the question that you were asking, and I'm like, yeah, I would like to comment on this. And thank you for just letting people in the community speak. I want to say this. I think that the top three issues in the Black community, number one is reparations. We need justice for the historic harms that have happened to us in this country, and that's the number one reason why we're not repaired, because we're dealing with systematic violence and trauma for centuries that has been occurring to our people. So we need reparations first and foremost. I want to say community safety. I know that you said the Democrats at the state are focused on gun violence specifically, but I feel like that's a very narrow way of looking at things. Like, yes, gun violence is an issue, but we're not only impacted by gun violence. It goes deeper than that. There's harm happening in our communities before guns are even, drawn out, right? Like, we need to deal with those issues. And I think that involves, mental health supports, other things, right? Like, it also involves police accountability as well, right? Like the fact that, I don't know if you saw in Flossmoor, there was like a 64-year-old woman who was killed because she had a knife with the police, right? And also Jalen Walker, that incident, like, it really breaks my heart that I don't see like an uprising like with George Floyd around the case of Jalen Walker. Like, he was shot, over like 90 times, right? 60 bullet wounds. And there should be an uprising right now around police accountability. So just to couch all of that in, I would say, community safety should be the number one issue in our community. And thirdly, I want to say housing is an issue in our community. The fact that the rents are going up, the fact that Black people own more homes, after slavery than now is an extreme problem. We need more home ownership. How can we do politics when most of our people are low income or renters and they're getting squeezed out of property and we're getting pushed out of the state and like we're going into suburbs? Like, it's a mess. And I think that more Black local politicians need to think about securing the Black base through home ownership. And yeah, I do want to say this too, even though I care about reparations, I'm still focused on that. But the job that I'm doing right now is around police accountability. That's like the work that I originally came from. And we are having a summit this Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. It's called the ECPS. It stands for Empowering Communities for Public Safety. Our Power Summit, where we'll be talking about the 2 new offices of police accountability that Chicago has. And this is a phenomenal opportunity that other cities and municipalities don't have, right? We're going to have a new body that gets to hold police accountable, and they're paying $500 a month to those people who would serve in that elected office. It's an elected office, unlike CHAPS, which is not elected. We'll be holding those police accountable and deciding upon safety in our own community. So I just wanted to plug that too.
Hey, I think Devin told us a little bit about that. Lucretia, tell us the information and send us a flyer. Say it one more time for the people, when and where and how they can meet.
Okay. There's going to be a ECPS coalition. ECPS stands for Empowering Communities for Public Safety. We're having our Power Summit this Wednesday, July 13th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's virtual on Zoom. I was listening on YouTube, but I'll try to go back to Facebook and drop it in the comments there, the link.
If you send me the link, or you can send it to me, and I'll make sure it gets up there on my page because it'll last longer than the break. Oh,
okay, sure. Yeah, I'll definitely send. I'll text it to you.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Lucretia, we appreciate you, sis. I appreciate all the work that you are doing. I see you out there relentlessly fighting. But I'm gonna tell you, your girl. That's all right. I ain't gonna go there. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave your 50th Ward Alderman alone. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We got anybody else on that, Reese? All right, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all. Have y'all done me a favor today? Have you shared the broadcast? Because if you have not shared the broadcast, you ain't really my people. I'm going to tell you the people who shared. Shout out to James Matthews Jr. Shout out to Salim Muwakil. Shout out to Andrew McLaurin, Yashika Wadi, Robert Smith. On your thing, it say Bob Israel. So I don't see the king on there, but I'm going to go ahead and give him King Israel shared the broadcast. Shout out to Maria Munoz, Erica Burton, Harold E.K. Williams, Jonathan Boston, Charles Henry, Quincy Frierson, Dewan Russell, Nidra Williams. Did I say Williams? Nidra Williams. Shout out to Solo Beauty. She shared it on Roland Martin. You know he gonna block that. Plus, Nidra Williams shared it to her personal page. Hey y'all, take a moment, share the broadcast. If you are on YouTube, we are trying to grow. We are trying to work with the algorithm. So I'm gonna ask you all, if you over there, Jerome Williams, I see you over there, Hope, Dominique, Tracy, Donald Harris, let's see, We the Brutes, I got Hope. I know Constance was over there. Playtime Group. Let's see who else we got over there. Can y'all share the broadcast? Shout out to Anthony, Eugene Brown. Eugene, what stuff you want me to stay out of, man? Daryl Murray. Bev D. I got Jerome. Gregory Carter, Carletta Passmore. Why you taking your messages back? Yeah, man. Let's see. I got Daryl Murray. I got Hope. Froylan Nunez. Shout out to Froylan Nunez. Shout out to Brother Brown. Kirk Roberts. Dr. Audrey Tanksley. Sheila. Let me see who else. And I think that is, and Desiree Anderson. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching the Maze Jackson Show. But I need y'all to share the broadcast. Take a moment and share the broadcast. Riis. JB Pritzker. Looking presidential, man. Look more and more like he's planning on running for president. I gotta tell you, I feel like I'm in the bubble. And I feel like our show is in the bubble. Is there anybody here that doubts that JB Pritzker is going to win? Do you think? No, I'm just asking. But like, Riis, don't call him no names. I'm just asking you. But now that Richard Irvin is out, and I understand that I don't. What do we do?
He will win. Of course, JB will win.
And so understanding that like Riis, so if you know that he's gonna win, what do we do? And now it's like here goes the craziest part, right? And I'm just like,
what do you mean? What do we do?
I mean, I'm not gonna run up the hill and be like, everybody want to be like, fight JB and and then you turn into a 3-year fight, 4 years where you get froze out again. Not that you're getting anything, but I mean, like, I feel like I don't want to run up the hill. And then it's like it's gonna be crazy because it's gonna be like he's going to be on the path to the presidency. And it's going to be like, look at everything he's done in Illinois. And he's going to be able to say he passed cannabis. He passed gaming. He made it the most abortion-friendly state in the country. Right? And I'm going to be sitting there thinking to myself, like,
what such a great governor he is. Correct. That's what you're going to be thinking to yourself. We won again, Democrats. We won again. We bleed blue.
How do you? I feel like I really just feel like there needs to be a black democratic movement. Like, Riis, and I know people are gonna say don't work with, but I feel like all of them black people that are Cook County Democrats should see right now, if you black, the party is not working for you. It's just not. And I feel like, what I want people to start doing? Are you a Democrat? Are you a black Democrat? You know how you be like, you be like, you from the West Side, but what part of the West Side? You from out West?
Nah, that's out South. You from out South? Are you from the low end? Oh, no.
You're right. Okay, you're right. West Side gotta stick together. They just be like, man, I'm out West. You say out West. My son came over to the house yesterday talking crazy. I almost had to put him out, Riis. We was having a conversation about women, and he said he couldn't get a woman on the West Side. And I said, boy, you better get you a country girl. Know how to cook some food, not have an attitude, get you set up. I'm just playing. But anyway, Riis, it is apparent that the Cook County Democratic Party is not really interested in black succession. Once again, we have been put in a place where the black leader has been convinced that they can't be too black. I really do think we have to take a hard look. Can I tell you that Illinois, let me just start by saying that we really need to stop referring to, okay, let me not say we need to stop referring to the machine, but can I tell you, Riis, that the machine that we talk about, like the daily machine, does not exist. And it's, when we come back, I'm going to give you an analogy to old Chicago. For those of you all that remember old Chicago, there's going to be a lesson for you. And for those of you who don't know about old Chicago, there's going to be a lesson for you. And hopefully we can bring both of those lessons together to talk about a way forward. Look, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about old Chicago. It's the Maze Jackson Show.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
Hey, Chicagoland, all roads lead to Solo Beauty Supply, the largest black-owned beauty supply in Chicago. We carry a large selection of natural hair care products, plus much more. So come see us at one of our two locations, located at 9011 South Ashland or 8158 South Cottage Grove. Our inventory is growing, and with your support, Solo Beauty will continue to be a source of pride in our community.
Today, the Biden administration is releasing what it calls a new strategy to fight domestic terrorism. Following a 100-day review, federal officials are now laying out a new plan hoping to deter, detect, and prosecute domestic terror.
They went to the Capitol wearing their flags and looking for smoke. He was out there looking for justice. They was over there looking for votes. Ashley Babbitt was with him and told all the people that nothing could stop us. She climbed through the Capitol window, breached security, and caught a shot, bro. The media say she a veteran. They paint the picture to make her look greater, but she disrespected the same country that she served. That makes her a traitor. They was fighting police, resisting arrest. On God, I couldn't believe it. I guess blue lives only tend to really matter when it's convenient. Hey, these are the times we witness in history, all because they didn't get a victory. United States is so contradictory. We get equal rights, that's a mystery. Politicians, they more like magicians. You know they got tricks up their sleeve. We point out the flaws that's up in this country. You know they gon' tell us to leave. Somebody try to help me understand it. Always seems like a double standard. They be out here leaving us empty-handed to certain rights we are not granted. The media is the culprit when it comes to the comparison. Cause when it comes to race, they always changing up the narratives. Terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know and we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know and we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know and we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. We still out here trying to get our reparations, but the government pump faking out here hesitating. I'm out here trying to keep my peace, so I keep meditating. The media make us look bad, they taint our reputation. Look, it's so sad that COVID causing toe tags. You claim you so patriotic, but you ain't wearing no mask. You out here wildin' with your MAGA flags and showing your ass. You wanna be part of some type of revolution so bad. Look, you talk revolution and constitutional rights, homie. I guess we forgot about back in the days when all of the business was whites only. Yeah. George Floyd got justice. Juneteenth got much respect. They made it a national holiday. Man, it's all good, but cut the check. They giving out all of these vaccines, putting it in you like caffeine. Was it all in the part of the plan? I bet money like DraftKings. It's land of the free, home of the brave. 1776, we wasn't free till 1865, so we wasn't part of that shit. And that there's terrorism.
Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism.
Yeah, Ruthie Mo, Riis the ruler, Maze Jackson. This is the reparations interlude. We not asking, we demanding. So go on, make my payments high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high. Not no SBA loans, just run the bread, make it high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high. Look, And check it out. First drug lord was President Nixon. Oval Office was the strap house where he was tipping. Got the drugs from Nicaragua and gave us crack. Declared war on blacks. Man, tell him to cut the check and try to make it seem like a revolution. CIA was the corner boys for distribution. We could tear this country in half for retribution. But I'd rather get some restitution, so tell him to cut the check. John Singleton, man, he already told y'all. He broke it down for you when he made Snowfall. They locked us all up and created whole laws. So send a message like a cold call. Tell them to cut the check. Look, we built this city. We built this city. Back, put this country together and gave him hella aid. Lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Over 400 years. Been punching the clock, but yeah, we still ain't got paid. Look, they paying the immigrants. They paid the Jews. Executive orders, man, they made the rules. I want my 40 acres, you can save the mule. Cause as of right now, we getting played for the fool. Look, for sterilization, Tuskegee experiment, Rosewood, Japanese internment. Come on, was all paid out from the government. We waiting on our turn, we definitely earned it. So make my payment high, 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 high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high, 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 high. Not no SBA loans, just run the bread, make it high, 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 high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high, 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 high. Not no stimulus checks, just run the bread, make it high. Yeah, Ruthie Mo, Riis the Ruler, Maze Jackson. This is the reparations interlude. We not asking, we demanding.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. What's up, Tavares? I see you, man. I'm going to get that squared away. We're going to get you on to present your media, racism in media. Maybe that'd be a presentation we have you do up at TP2. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man, DJ Riis, the rule on the ones and twos. Riis, ain't nobody call us today. They don't like us. What's going on?
They called earlier.
They called earlier. They don't want to call and talk to us. 872-259-7474. So I'm going to do an analogy today. Anybody out there remember old Chicago? Old Chicago. Anybody remember old Chicago in Bolingbrook, Illinois? Riis? I was sitting with myself in a pina colada on the beach last week when I said to myself, I looked at the graphic that I showed you all yesterday of Chuy Garcia and the victories that he claimed. And I gotta be honest with you. I got a ton of respect for Chuy Garcia. Now, some of you all may find that antithetical, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for Chuy Garcia. Many of you all don't realize that Chuy Garcia was thrown from the party in power with the rise of the Hispanic Democratic Organization known as HDO and MLI, and they led a charge to build a political powerhouse that expelled the traditional Latinos who weren't really about power but really were about culture. And they flipped the script and brought in an era of Latinos that were ruthlessly American, ruthlessly Chicago, and about the acquisition of power. And I would tell you that prior to MLI, and I'm not going to say MLI, but most of the black and brown conversations about power were often about power sharing and benevolence. And there was not a fake, but like a kind of a Harold Washington-based alliance that kept Chewy and Louis Gutierrez. Louis Gutierrez went on to be successful, but kept Chewy somewhere with a level of credibility, right? Like, because I remember I want y'all to go back to and think about when we were talking about running for the mayor of Chicago, and it was going to be Rahm Emanuel versus Karen Lewis. And then remember Karen Lewis got sick and then became Chewy Garcia. Did I tell y'all that they asked me to manage Chewy Garcia's campaign then? The one he lost. I got the video. I got the thing. But I remember when he lost, but he won. So Chewy went from obscurity after being in the wilderness for years and years, being exiled, and came back with the resurgence of the Chicago Teachers Union, and then propelled himself from a mayoral run to Congress. And there from Congress, he used the popularity that he built with the mustache and becoming a pop figure. He aligned himself with likes like Bernie Sanders, a little bit of Alexandria Ocasio, but he claimed a space with the progressives. And then Riis, he came back to Chicago, leveraged that congressional along with that anti-Rahm fighter to become, what I have to say now is, perception that Chewy Garcia is now the most powerful Democrat in Cook County. I would argue that even in this last race, he dwarfed the county board president. He dwarfed every known political entity to claim victory. And Riis, I got to tell you, I watched it happen over almost an 8 to 10 year process. And in 8 to 10 years, we have watched Cook County government be transformed from a white Irish dominated old school party to now probably having the most elected progressive Democrats aligned with one form of progressiveness or the other. And I gotta say, it's pretty impressive. Now, I'd also argue that perception is reality. I mean, perception is something, it is reality. But I wouldn't say that Chewy was 100% instrumental in getting all those people elected, but he attached his name to them, and then his endorsement as they won became a perceived level of importance. And as those wins started to rack up, I gotta ask you: if you are a Democrat in Illinois, do you want Tony Preckwinkle on your side, or do you want Chewy Garcia? And I think in this process that we have seen play out over the last 10 years, I actually feel as though Madam President Preckwinkle signed her own death warrant. Politically. Because now, Riis, it's clear that Chewy Garcia is the undisputed champion in Cook County. He definitely has more wins for his community than Tony Preckwinkle has for hers, depending on who she considers her community. And so now I think as you attend your committeeman meeting, as the Cook County Board, the Cook County Democrats, the Cook County Democratic Party meeting occurs, recognize that you are now not reporting to Madam Preckwinkle. You are now submitting to the will of Chuy Garcia, David Orr, and the like. And I want you to think about what that means. Now, I'm not tripping because Chuy is the new powerhouse, period. Like, Chuy in this last election told everybody to get down or lay down, and the black champion laid down. So it gets me to my story, Riis, of old Chicago. And I'm not talking about old Chicago. I'm not talking about old Chicago City, and I'm talking about old Chicago, the amusement park. Riis, in the 70s, when I lived in Chicago from 1971 to 1979, I would tell you that probably once a year, my church, the Greater Metropolitan Missionary Baptist Church of Chicago, would pile all of the young people and their parents. We did one Great America trip, and we did one Old Chicago trip. Riis, you don't know about Old Chicago. Old Chicago was an indoor amusement park with roller coasters and Ferris wheels and everything. And it was like going to Great America, but inside. And it was a big deal because, you know, Great America closed in the wintertime. So you could go to Old Chicago. And it was billed as this big thing. And like nobody in Bolingbrook went to it, but everybody from Chicago would come out to the Old Chicago amusement park. And quite frankly, it was the only reason that people knew Bolingbrook. Like I would say, man, we live in Bolingbrook. They'd be like, I don't know nothing about no Bolingbrook. You say Old Chicago, black people would be like, oh, I know Old Chicago. My church took me there. Riis. So I remember when we moved to Bolingbrook, and I was excited because we moved to Bolingbrook, and we were going to live by Old Chicago. Matter of fact, we lived only less than a mile away from Old Chicago. And I remember Old Chicago being such a big deal when we lived in the city, but when we got to Bolingbrook, Old Chicago was just a thing. It was like it was there. You know how you just drive past it, you never stop, you never went, you never go. Then I remember Old Chicago closed. But there was always in Bolingbrook the discussion of Old Chicago, what are we going to do with the building? What are we going to do with it next? What are we going to do with it? And I remember, Riis, from the time that I was in like 6th grade all the way to the time that I got to high school, the discussion in the local newspaper always was about what are we going to do with Old Chicago? Right? It was the amusement park had closed. There were no more people working there. They had closed the amusement park. Then they kept the shop open. Then they said they was going to make it a mall. And then they had all of these plans. And Bolingbrook never grew. Because the only topic of discussion about anything growing Bolingbrook was always centered around Old Chicago. Now, this building has been empty for years and years and years, but every time somebody talks about the glory days of Bolingbrook, a shopping mall, the first thing they say is, what about Old Chicago? And Old Chicago essentially became our link to the past that would not allow us to go to the future. Because there was not a discussion about any economic development that ever occurred in Bolingbrook without the topic of Old Chicago, and was there a way to interject Old Chicago into the plan? And then, Riis, I remember one day They decided they were going to tear old Chicago down. Now, Riis, we have been driving past old Chicago. Now, this has got to be my freshman, sophomore. So I moved to Bolingbrook when I was in 3rd grade. Now I am, a sophomore in high school, junior in high school, sophomore in high school. And they make the freshman year, and they make the decision to tear it down. And Riis, I remember all of us saying, they can't tear old Chicago down. We won't be Bolingbrook without old Chicago. Now, this building has been empty. Nothing has happened there. But every time we try to move forward, we stop to say, but what about old Chicago? And then I remember Mayor Claire declaring we were going to tear it down and we were going to put something else there, but we had to destroy old Chicago. And Riis, there was a lot of fear, a lot of trepidation. Like, we hadn't seen or gotten anything from that building for years. Years. Bro, since 5th grade all the way to my freshman year, we never got anything out of it. And then one day somebody was like, damn, we have put all of our investment, all of our thought, everything has always gone to old Chicago. Naperville blowing up, all these other places starting to grow. And Mayor Claire decided to tear down old Chicago. And Riis, you know what happened after we got over the shock of getting off of I-55 and not seeing old Chicago? New Bolingbrook began to be built. New Bolingbrook. We tore down old Chicago. And new Bolingbrook begun to get built. And Bolingbrook, which had, when I first moved there, was a 2-lane highway and bunch of cornfields, started to see development. Riis, they cut down the cornfield, they built a Walmart. They knocked down old Chicago, they built an auto auction that was one of the biggest ones in the Midwest. Generated more money off that land than old Chicago had even in its heyday. But we couldn't imagine Bolingbrook without old Chicago because we were linked inextricably to its past. Then, Riis, something else started to happen. New ideas about and new visions of what Bolingbrook could be happened. And when I left, that one small town of 30,000 people that was relegated to 2 flats exploded. #1 golf course in the Midwest, damn near. You go at shopping malls, centers, $1 million homes. Bolingbrook now becomes a Southwest center. Now you talk about Bolingbrook and everybody knows somebody from Bolingbrook. Now you turn on the news and they be like, the temperature, the weather is in Bolingbrook. But I was thinking about this because I was talking about old Chicago and new Chicago. And Riis, there was a time when you was in Chicago, if you grew up in my era, that you had to know what old Chicago was. And I've been living in old Chicago. And I think black people in politics have been living in old Chicago. We still look to the past to define our future, and we are holding on to something that no longer exists. And what Chewy has understood and what he learned in the wilderness was that he had to rebuild. I have talked to you infinitely about our infrastructure. When they took down old Chicago, Bolingbrook had to build a new infrastructure. They had to rethink how transportation was done because everything was built to go to that attraction. And as they stopped trying to direct their resources backwards to old Chicago and started to say, hey man, we got all of this land, we got all of this place to expand, right? Bolingbrook became the greatest suburb ever. Old Chicago. I know this story is moving from old Chicago to from Bolingbrook back to Chicago. But old Chicago was symbolic because I still operate from the paradigm of old Chicago, Riis. And old Chicago has been torn down. And the people that are moving forward in the city of Chicago are the people who don't know that old Chicago was where we came from. Or accepted that old Chicago was torn down and now we got to build a new, bigger, better. And the new, bigger, better in Bolingbrook now generates way more money and outcomes than old Chicago ever did. But it took for us to tear down old Chicago. It took for us to release our minds from the mental chains of who we used to be. We thought that the pride of Bolingbrook was being from old Chicago. Until you realize that you can build a $100 million high school and build a football pipeline that make Tyrone Muhammad be like, they got a black field. Old Chicago. Look, bro, the people who are winning in Chicago are not from old Chicago. The people who are winning have let go of old Chicago and taken advantage of the new Chicago that exists. And I gotta tell you that I, Maze Jackson, have been building backwards. I keep thinking about the days when we used to laugh at the Chewies of the world and laugh at all of the progressives of the world because they were in the wilderness and we knew we had it. But the whole time, our infrastructure was being eaten from the inside. They shut down the roller coaster. They shut down the Ferris wheel. So now you really operating on the shops. It's not operating at full tilt. And then it takes people from out of Chicago who could care less about old Chicago to come destroy all of your memories. So now when you take the county board president who never knew old Chicago and say, why do I care about the long-term effects of black folks? When you then bring in the mayor who never went to old Chicago, never saw it, why do I care about these streets being laid this way? And you saying, wait, it was old Chicago. This old Chicago. Yo, I had to come to the epiphany that old Chicago is dead. That as much this and quiet as it's kept, this is what we rooted for, except for we didn't do any planning in the midst. So as they watched Madigan crumble, as they watched Burke crumble, they were standing in the place to catch while we were still holding on to Madigan and Burke. They were building something else. As the bricks start to fall inside and as old Chicago becomes decrepit, we steady trying to grab and put bricks back in, not bricks of our own though. We rebuilding somebody else's. In the meantime, the ops is saying, all right, we see the cracks in there, and while they still could get us to line up to fight each other, the progressives were saying, let them keep fighting. They still trying to repair old Chicago. Hey, yo, you know we just built a Walmart down here. Hey, yo, you know we got our third Walmart in Bolingbrook now? You know, it's I think it's two. I'm just talking. But like we got two Walmarts now. We got the down one and the up one. Now we got a Portillo. Do you know Portillo's has moved 3 times in Bolingbrook? Do you know now they got all the restaurants? Do you know now Bolingbrook is a destination and it ain't for no old Chicago? Chicago is a destination for everybody, but they ain't coming here to see old Chicago. Let me tell you, would that I could return to a day when there were political bosses. Would I could return to a day when we could control jobs and contracts, etc. What we let happen was we watched the progressives use things like Shackman, use things to systemically put us out of business. And as we was busy fighting for the white folks to protect them in the spaces and patronage, they figured out to get their people out of the patronage jobs and get them into the professional services place where they're qualified. And while you still building old Chicago, while we still talking about the good old days with Emil Jones and we going back to, the big old school bosses that was doing it, that's not the world we live in anymore. And unfortunately, our contractor that's been involved in building the new Chicago ain't from us, so they didn't put no Chicago landmarks in. They don't feel an obligation to put your children in. They feel comfortable telling you that the future is all the other children. Forget yours, blend yours in. And they bring in a cadre of people who are from New Chicago, who don't have no respect. And I'm standing up here screaming for old respect when these people are all from New Chicago. These people don't care about, they didn't even, Riis, can I tell you about New Chicago and Old Chicago real quick? And then I'm going to let this go. My daughter is New Chicago. She lives essentially on the site of Good Times. When Good Times come on, I'll be like, that's where you are? No, huh? Wait, what? Guys, as much as it hurt me growing up in Bolingbrook, because in some way, old Chicago is part of me. Old Chicago is what made me. Old Chicago is why I'm so frustrated so many days, because even though I knew we didn't get our fair piece, we knew we got a piece. But old Chicago has been torn down. Real talk. The mayor's in Paris, France right now, flying around with a whole group of people who are looking around to figure out how to continue to build the new Chicago. And I'm still steady standing here fighting for old Chicago. Old Chicago is dead. And one of the things that I used to try to tell y'all is we have to accept the world as it is, not how we want it to be. Now, you can make and plan and work to build the world that you want it to be. But right now, I need for y'all to understand that if we are going to get out of this hole, we're going to have to build new Chicago, new black Chicago. Because new white Chicago is cracking. Riis, you been to Timeout? You been to the Timeout Cafe downtown? In West Loop?
Nope.
Riis. They got like 50 restaurants in that bad boy. Like you pull up, you could place an order for a drink on a app. Dog, you show up, you go get your bro. They got outside bands, music. Like, New Chicago is happening as we speak. And I'm preaching to y'all about old Chicago. It just takes a minute to tell you about all the black folks that be coming over to the Blanc Art Gallery. They not mad. And Riis, I've been spending a lot of time being mad because of old Chicago when we should be partaking in New Chicago. So I hope y'all got my old Chicago story. I felt a little churchy. Did it make sense, Riis? Did I get it together?
It definitely made sense.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I was a little nervous about doing that one. But I decided to go ahead and do it. But y'all, old Chicago is done. And so if you asking me to fight backwards, I can't do it. I got to fight forward. Got to deal with the cards that are dealt with me, and got to build a new type of political organization. That's why you got to join us at BP1, What's in it for the Black People First, on Saturdays, second Saturday of the month. But it's time out for old Chicago. We have to build our space in New Chicago. Look, Riis, I'm the host of the Maze Jackson Show. I got my man DJ Riis the Ruler. Ruthie didn't come in today. She got to take care of her dog. But in the meantime, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show. Riis, Riis, you got anything for the people though? You got anything you want to say?
No, I'm good.
I can't believe you ain't never been to old Chicago. Miss Wilson, you ain't take Riis to old Chicago. He might not have been old enough.
Probably.
Yeah, because it was done in like 1980. It was done. When he was born.
See, I was done already.
When he was born?
I was born way after that.
After 80?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, I'm an 80s kid, but I can only tell you what the 90s like.
Okay. All right. See? All right, y'all. Well, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I am your host, Maze Jackson, for my man, DJ Riis the Ruler.
You know what I do? That's how I feel about Costco's on 1st Street, about Kitty Land.
What?
Like, cause I used to be Kitty Land on North Avenue and 1st, now it's Costco. See, old Chicago, New Chicago.
See, you ain't know about Funtown. Did you know about Funtown? See?
See, it's all gone.
All right. Look, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. For my man, DJ Riis the Ruler, for Ruthie Moore, for my whole family. You look, every single day I ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And I got to tell y'all, I ain't for this. Y'all about to lose me on this wokeness. Y'all about to lose me on these hypersensitive, gotta apologize to everybody for everything type moments. Y'all about to lose me. Because I got to tell you, man, it's like we ain't gonna never have no truth if we gotta always worry about somebody's feelings being hurt when nobody was intending to hurt your feelings. I just gotta tell you, we have got to come up with a lender strategy. What's her name now? A Karen strategy. Because, man, it's too many Karens in the world. But I gotta get up out of here. So look, Riis, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? If you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folk. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it out. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blotto. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legend DNA gets spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let this give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crash